What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vince, and today we're taking a detour from entertainment. And in this video, I will discuss who I really am, how I got on this path of accounting, and if I would recommend it. So, first things first. This story starts off with a little Asian boy who was so shy he purposely avoided people. Legend has it that he used to purposely sit at a peanut allergy table in elementary school because no one would sit there. P.S. That dude was not allergic to peanuts whatsoever. Later on, that kid started participating in sports. Football was the main sport he had the most aptitude in, even though at first he sucked at it. Starting off, he was known as a 10-play kid. And back in those days, there was a rule that every kid, no matter how good or bad you were, had to play at least 10 plays. Fast forward a few years, he learns how to play better and got more athletic. Eventually, he hit high school, went through all those fun shenanigans. Eventually, he worked his way up to getting all-state recognition in his senior year. And as a kid who played football growing up, it's not unusual to dream of playing in the NFL or playing D1 ball. But he quickly learned that the real world can be cruel, and things don't always go the way you plan. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you may never attain a desired goal. But you know what? That's okay. There are always different paths in life that one can take. So after a long recruiting process, he eventually got a really good scholarship from both being athletic and academic to play football at this small liberal arts college in Caldwell, Idaho, known as the College of Idaho. He went through initiation after he graduated high school and all that fun stuff of being on board to a collegiate sports team. Eventually, in his first fall camp, he blew out his knee and had to get reparative surgery. You want to know what happened to that guy after he got his first surgery ever? Find out after this short little break. Alright, that's enough third person talking about myself. I'll take it on first person now. So, eventually I got the surgery and I had to sit out for the whole year. Coming from a family with high expectations, felt like a failure when that happened. I didn't make it through one fall camp, even though it should have been light work for me. Nonetheless, I hit the lab and got back on the right track. At my peak of football, I once weighed 266 pounds. To get effectively recruited as a defensive tackle or offensive lineman, you could not be under 6 foot and less than 250 pounds. So after the surgery, I eventually became a rotational player in my sophomore year, which is not too bad since pretty much everyone was returning that year from my freshman year. And let me tell you this to all athletes out there, surgery helps, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, you'll never be the same after it. I don't know the science behind it. I'm a very science-based guy, but do not expect to move as well or be as strong as you once were. I know I got a little too much in the details of football there. That's not the point of this video, but it took up 14 years of my life, over half my age. So I'll dive into the more good old finance and accounting part of the video. So there's a few reasons why I was a computer science major when I first started. You know the whole Asian trope that usually they're raised to be doctors and anything less is unacceptable. I was trying to go on that path in high school, and I took AP Biology and found out that my hands get shaky during labs that require precise movements. This was in high school. But, so, the doctor-surgeon route out of the picture, my hands were just getting so shaky, just doing like little baby labs. And then I eventually took some web programming, web design classes that did some coding, and I'm always been big into technology and I enjoyed it. So I'm like, this is something I want to do and major in. Little did I know at the time when I was deciding my major before I went to college, I was not built for that. So when I finished my rehab, going back to college now, when I finished my rehab my freshman year, so that was like around the second semester, I had my first computer science class. Boy, I got cooked so bad. I barely got a C in that class. And at that point, I knew I messed up. there was a meme about Asians and grades, and the grading system went as so: A as acceptable, B meaning banished, C for catastrophic, D for disowned, and F for forever forgotten. I found it funny, but there is some relative truth to that. So, anyways, that C was a message that I was not cut out for computer science. Even going to every office hour, I could barely pass the test. That's how you know you're finished with something. And that is when I found accounting. I was pretty good at math then. My mind was definitely more tailored towards numbers. And one of my old high school buddies' aunt was an accounting professor at my school. So I switched majors, and she eventually became my academic advisor too. But little did I know, that was when the true grind started. In order to be CPA eligible, you have to have a bachelor's degree and 150 credits. And usually most people stay like a fifth year to get that done. I didn't want that, so I wanted to say a total of 4, and I wasted my first year doing computer science, so I had to get 150 credits in 3 years. Total. I had to get 150 credits total in 3 years, but it was tough. But you know how I was able to accomplish that? It's simple, but it's really just
with hard work.
Essentially, I had to take 18 credits per semester, do some summer classes, and add on more credits during our January term. But balancing all that with football was really tough. A big motivator for me to just come back from like surgery, get through all this accounting in college was a show called Black Clover. And the main character, his name is Asta, and he's a very, very inspiring individual. And I would recommend it, but not if you're new to anime. I would recommend different shows. And I'll drop a video about good gateway animes to get into. But it's his determination, motivation. It really rubs off on you and helps you like push through some tough times. So crazy enough, during my junior year, I also had shoulder surgery in my left shoulder. Another little obstacle I had to overcome, but reflecting back to Black Clover helped me push through that. And eventually, I started my senior year for football in college, and then that led to good old graduation. I started my first job in public accounting. I was taking a class in my last semester in college that let me study for the CPA exam and obtain credits for it. With the public accounting firm I started at, they let me use Becker study materials on them. I didn't have to pay for it. And for those who don't know, Becker's top of the line for studying for that accursed exam. But I studied very hard for it and tried to take one section before I started to work. However, I got delayed over 2 months to get my application accepted first. The whole process was a bunch of BS, but dig into that later, or you can dig into that on your own. It's not a fun one. But yeah, I eventually took it, and I unfortunately failed. And then, personal life stuff happened after that, and I didn't take another exam until the following year. But yeah, man, public accounting it's quite the experience. When I left it, the HR people wanted me to do a survey to help them just reflect and all. So I guess here is my little survey reflection for them. Public accounting at the firm I was at is a great place to start out. I'm sure it's great at other firms too. But it teaches you how to be a working professional, and you get to work with some highly smart professionals. In college, I graduated with a GPA of 3.91. I was magna cum laude, or whatever, the very the highest one you can be. But I'm sure some of the people I worked with in my old firm would have a somewhat hard time believing in it, but it is what it is. But anyways, my old firm, they trained me quite well, taught me how to work with others internally and externally, and helped me improve my technical skills a lot. Not gonna lie, I was quite buns when I first started, but I worked hard and became more and more efficient at the job. And pro tip for future accountants, salespeople, anything that's related to business or all that fun stuff, get damn good with Excel. It'll only help you in the long run. So, moving forward, the busy season of public accounting. holy hell. It really is a different ball game. Working 12 plus hours a day and working on the weekends on top of that can be grueling. Nonetheless, it's a great way to learn. I did 2 busy seasons and found out that this public accounting wasn't really for me. And another thing that happened was my health kind of went straight down the drain. And the only person I have to blame is myself. But literally, yeah, like last year, I was around this time, I was 237 pounds. I found that out after doing a workout with one of my clients. They're a big health and fitness company. Most people would know. I won't say their name, but I did a workout, felt pretty good. I'm like, how much am I weighing? And then it said 237. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty close to my playing weight. So I had to lock in and focus on my health after that, and it's been great after I've left. Nowadays, I am 190 pounds, and that's the lowest I've been like in a long time in my life, and it's great. It's amazing. And one thing I would recommend too, as you're working, work life and all that, is not only do you need to focus on your career, you do need to focus on your personal and mental health, because having both of those intact are just going to make your work life even better. But for me, it really just took simple changes. I incorporated more weightlifting into my workouts, ate more protein, ate less carbs, did intermittent fasting too. And yeah, those simple changes, just being in a calorie deficit, just helped me knock away that excess weight. And go back into how I got truly into my new role. It was around July last year when I started getting recruited for it, and it was via LinkedIn. I just got hit up by a bunch of LinkedIn recruiters. But at that time, when I was at my old firm, I was beginning to question the work I was doing. I won't get into too many details for that, but this new role, the senior financial analyst one, paid better. It was in the manufacturing industry, and I was ready for a change. So I went through that whole process with the third-party recruiter and took my chance with the role, and it's been great. I have a lot better work-life balance, and one of the things I enjoy the most with my new job is being able to work with one team. Public accounting, you work with a bunch of different teams, but that's pros and cons to that too. But for me, like my new team, I have just a bunch of badass, smart women, and they help me get better every day. And I'm literally like the only dude on my team, but I've got no problem with that whatsoever. So one thing I'll say with public accounting is that your experience is highly tailored to by what clients you work on, who you work with, meaning like internally your teams and all that. So for the most part, I was chill with everyone, but my strongest suit, I'd say, is being able to work with and communicate well with others. Pretty much my attitude is the strongest trait. And an old-timer coach of mine from high school, he was an old head, but like he had one good quote. He had other good quotes, but one of the ones that stood out to me most was attitude is everything. And he did not miss with that whatsoever. So now for the big question. Is the accounting path one that I would recommend? It's a yes, but with certain stipulations. First, you got to have somewhat of an aptitude to accounting and numbers. Second, you got to be able to enjoy it too. I would never recommend a certain path if it will not be enjoyable. Yes, you may get paid more than other jobs, but if you do not like what you're doing, the work in the end will not be worth it. I'm not saying that you'll have to wake up every day and say that you love accounting, but if you dislike it, definitely do not do it. And I recommend that for just any path you try to take in life. And as you know, there are many paths in life, and whatever makes you happy is honestly the best route you can take. Another thing you have to ask yourself, this is another big one, is if college is even the right choice for you. I can't speak from my own personal experience, but I know many people who are happy with what they do now, and they did not go to college. Another pro to not attending college is that you avoid student loans. And this leads me to my next recommendation. And playing high school sports or doing some high school extracurricular activity, very helpful. Very helpful for getting scholarship money. I'm almost done paying off my loans. I'm just waiting on their government loans. So they're all in forbearance right now. So no need to pay it. And there you have it. There's my story. Very rundown, quick version of it. But for those who made it to this point in the video, I hope you all enjoyed it and enjoyed what you saw and heard. Although I'm early in my career, I do have some small tips and tricks that could help others, but I'll save those pointers for another time. Let me know down in the comments if you all would like to see more content like this, or if you'd like me to focus on other things in my big three. Like and subscribe for more content. Share this with your friends and family, and I'll see you in the next video.